Hey everyone, welcome back to Patriot Ridge Farm. It's Mike, and yes, it's been a while since I've been on here, but there's been an issue. Well, there's been a couple issues, as always. So remember in the previous videos I showed you about this, how we just could not get this to dry up no matter what was going on. We went 8 days with no rain, and this place was still just puddled up all the way down through here, all the way inside, and it was even filling up across the front here. And my wife came out here with me one day because we were using the well to help fill the pool. And she said, Mike, this water's running. And I said, what? She said, this water's actually flowing. And there, you looked and there was a steady flow going down through there. So I traced it back, and sure enough, we got a leak at the well. So, well, at the hydrant. So where the well line plugs into the hydrant is where the leak is. So I hand dug it down to the pipe so I could find the pipe and find the electric cable there. And then I used the backhoe to pull everything back out of there. And I got to dig. Now I got to take this whole hydrant out and expose it and then reconnect it down here. So that's the main issue. And you can see there's still a little water in there because we turned the well back on to see where the water was flowing from. I was kind of hoping it'd be like right in the middle where I could cut that section out and just put a splice. Nope, it's right where it connects to the hydrant. So that's why we're digging that out. The good thing is though, is since we've had the well off, this has dried up significantly. So not the issue that we had before. Now there are other issues. All right, so we started the back wall here, and we got 4 posts up. So we got the 2 door posts, the double header, and 2 posts on the other side of it in. And to save our soul, we could not get those things to line up. We couldn't get them straight. And then the plumb bob we had up there at the top, now you can see it's all disconnected now. The plumb bob was sticking about that far off of the string that we got running across there to keep a straight line. And we worked and figured and done everything that we could possibly figure out what was going on. And then I just kind of stepped off to the side and I looked up, and you can see now, of course, all the purlins are loose now. So everything's kind of leaning back. What we figured out had happened was when we put the wind braces on, instead of just putting them in place and tighten them where they were, I had to push them down. And when you push them down, you push the bows out. So what we ended up doing was, as I put the wind braces on the 4 corners, I pushed them down too far, made them too tight, and that pushed these things off, these bows. And we weren't even on either side over here with the wind braces. So we ended up with a bow like this on this side and a bow like that on the inside, and it threw the whole top off. So I went through and I disconnected the purlins on each end, and then loosened up the side purlins all the way through, and this thing, it let loose. So that's where we had screwed up. Now we just kind of left those there right now because they are still attached at the top. And what I'm going to do is just leave them there for now until I get up here. And I've got a spacer gauge that goes in between the bows. It's just a board. It's got a notch on one on each end, and you just set it right over the bows and adjust it to your distance that you're supposed to have. So that's where we ended up with that at. So I wanted to fix the well issue first because I still want to be able to use the well as we need it. So I want to get it fixed before we start doing anything more on this. So there is a word to the wise. If you are going to build one of these things and you're going to do it yourself, double check your spacing. Don't put your wind braces, don't push them down as hard as you can and spread your bows out too far, because it's going to throw you off in the end. So that's where we're at with that. It's not terrible. I mean, it's fixable. It's going to take a little bit of time to do it because I'm going to have to go, each side purlin has a brace on it on each bow. So I have to go back through and re-gauge each side and then tighten them as I go along. So that's going to take a little bit of time and make sure everything's right where it needs to be. So that's the issue we ran. And you can see how that top is just kind of pushed out right there now. And all I got to do is just pull that in now that I got the wind braces loose. And that's what had happened, was I pushed the wind braces, and then we ended up pulling the purlins to match the bow and the bows, or the twist in the bows like dummies, because we're amateurs. I mean, that's just the whole extent of it. So that's where we're at with that. But I'm going to try to get this thing done, at least get this well fixed in the next couple days, because it's supposed to start raining, I think, Saturday. Today's Wednesday. So I want to get it fixed before the rain comes, because I'm just going to end up with a pond over there where I got all that dug out if I don't. It's just the rest of the compost that I pulled in here, and I pushed it all off to this one side to help absorb some of the water that was laying in there, because it was just laying on top of that clay and it wasn't going anywhere. And of course the well was feeding it and we didn't realize it. So even with the hydrant turned off, with the handle turned off on the hydrant, it was still pumping water wherever that leak is down there. And I think I'm pretty sure it's the connection where the hydrant is, because that's where the water's coming out at as we turn it back on. So I'll redo that. I'll cuss a lot. I'll second and third guess my life choices, and yeah, well, it is what it is. We'll get her done. And that's where we're at. That's why there's been hardly any progress on this thing, and I had to wait for it to dry up enough for me to actually start digging down in there, because you can actually see the water percolating up out of the ground, and this is all clay anyways, so I wanted to wait and let it dry before I dug down in there, and I still ended up with a bunch of wet sticky clay that you have to beat off your shovel with every shovelful. So anyways, thank goodness for a little backhoe that we got. That's my brother's. He owns a bunch of properties, and he has that for maintenance and repairs and stuff, so he's been storing it over here, so I kind of stole it, used it. Makes my life a little bit easier. Eventually, one of these days. And how we got the front wall done, I'm not even going to sit here and question it, but I can't figure out how we got the front wall done like we did, and it's straight, it's plumb, it's level. But by golly, we did. That back end, it's fighting us. And we triple measured everything again. We're 48 feet on the long sides and 22 feet across both back sides, so we're not off on our measurements. We just over tightened and got a little overzealous, I guess, and threw the bows off. But all right, I'll keep you guys up on this as we get things moving along. Stay prepared, stay free. God bless y'all.